I'm someone like I have a million one, okay, not a million one ideas, but I am someone who just come up with something randomly. After I get that idea, it would be idea to paper, and then basically try to break down, okay, what impact I want to have or objective I want to achieve. What's the timeline like? How realistic is it? Um, and based on that, you would really know if this is something that can be achieved or if this idea is realistic. Because sometimes you can have a good idea, and then when you put it on paper, now it's like, okay, this is horrible. I have that entrepreneurial mindset. So this is Hierland Peter in a nutshell. I must admit, I've been fortunate to have both my parents because my mom did many things. She worked in a restaurant. She was an entrepreneur in herself in her way. My dad worked with different companies, whether it would be Hess Oil. He also worked with cable and wireless communications at one point in time. He spoke to me a lot when I was younger, because I must admit I was quote unquote a troublemaker, not in the sense I would fight with people or anything like that. I would always break stuff in the house, like it would just be random, and unintentional too, I would say. And I must admit, they realized how someone was very playful, and someone who was very hyper. Ooh, funny! It's odd. So at home, I would talk. I would, be very active. But outside the house, I was very quiet. And after a while, that just changed, and I was just interacting with everybody to the point where I'll talk too much now. I don't know if I had to, make up for all the years when I was just, the quiet kid in the class. But overall, yeah, I was generally quiet, but still kind. I must admit, I've been told that, and I've gotten to an age where I can recognize that, yeah, I was someone who was just willing to help people. You know what I mean? So one memory that that stood out as a child would be in particular grade five, grade six, where a whole bunch of friends were free in particular. We would go out to the Cashry Central in the gardens. We would play cricket, play games, but in particular, we would always walk to a house in Marsha and we would pick cherries, we would pick guavas, a whole bunch of fruits. By the way, disclaimer: it was not our property, not our parents' property. We had no idea what we who the persons were. Sorry, so that was very risky, but we never got caught. But it was all fun. But nonetheless, we would go, we would pick a whole bunch of things, and we just you know, stay there, eat, watch the view because there was a great view and you could see the entire of Castries Central because it was on top of a hill. Yeah, we would also. I know people would judge me for this. Um, looking back, that was pretty crazy. There was a river. That's mad. The Marsha River. Granted, it wasn't as I'm gonna be frank, dirty because looking back, that was crazy. But we would go, we'd pick guppies or catch guppies and just release them. We just do it just for fun, just because. But fast forward to now, the river is really dirty now. I would not advise that, but still, it was a good memory, and I'm fortunate that I had that. I'm the last. I'm the baby. I had two sisters, one brother. My sisters have been very there's with siblings there's this love hate relationship. Sometimes you just want to smother them with love. Other times you're like, oh my god, they're annoying. It's just that kind of relationship, over the years. And I've been very fortunate, especially my sister Sarah. She's been very, supportive in whatever new initiative I want to undertake. whether it would be for profit, non profit. I must have been, she in particular has been very supportive, in addition to my brother, Thomas, and my other sister, my elder sister, Ansha. They've been supportive in their different ways, but Sarah in particular has gone the extra mile. She assisted me by simply always giving me that pep talk. You know what I mean? Like saying, Helen, you can do this. And her achievements motivated me in wanting to do better. You know what I mean? Like always being wowed. I don't think she even knows that, by the way. But I see, what she's doing, and she was the first person in the family to have, tertiary level education, or university education, being the first person. I'm like, okay, wow, we weren't wealthy or anything like that. And with no funding help or anything like that, she was able to do it on her own. And that basically gave me the motivation to do it on my own. She, outside my parents, she, motivated me by simply, being a role model, and by simply, overcoming the challenges that she had to face, that helped me and motivated me in doing the same, and to, in the future, having my own conglomerate, and, being an entrepreneur. Every Christmas time, the family would get together, especially the men in the family, my brother, myself, and my father. We would always, come together and paint the house. This would be our Christmas project. If one person is not there, we would not start. If my dad is, let's say you went to get something in town, to the supermarket rather, we would not start without him. So, this really brought the meals in the family together. And by extension, my mom and my sisters really brought everyone together. And that's one of the good memories I have as a child and as a teen. Originally, I'm from the area, the community of Arundel Hill, which is in Marsha. So my neighborhood, despite the positive memories, and I was fortunate to have good parents. It was bittersweet. More focusing on the bitter, because it's a vulnerable community, and although there are different parts in Marsha, the reality is, because of its vulnerable nature, there were incidents of crime and theft. And, there was one time where, growing up, I actually saw a policeman with this huge gun. And, I passed it like normal, just walking normal. But then, looking back, that was pretty like scary, having, that an 11-year-old having to pass by an officer, with one big gun, simply because there was something happening in the neighborhood. And, after a while, it became so normal, because I would see it, the first time it's like, oh, a gun, a big gun, oh my god. And then after a while, it just became normal, because you just keep seeing this officer, not this specific officer, but another one, with another gun. And, you know these things can scar kids. It's concerning, because it's a community where, despite the vulnerable nature, and, the negative issues that the community and people in the community face, there is a lot of positivity and a lot of love. And, it's unfortunate, but nonetheless, i I hope that there is improvement. And I do see improvement in different ways, but I think it can happen at a faster pace. You know what I mean? So that's basically, there's a bittersweet element with the community over the years.
How much do you think the community you grew up in, and even like your family background, how much do you think that influenced like your the trajectory that you see yourself going in?
Quite a bit when you think about it, because my mom, after a while, when she had to take care of us, she had to think of ways to, hey, get extra income in. So she would basically sell different things to the community on people outside of the community. And that's where I got the entrepreneurial side of and wanting to work for yourself. And as it relates to basically the risk side of it and the ambitious side of me, my dad, because he would have that same mindset of no matter what, turning that negative into a positive. And he did not have any major academic background. Um, he was not wealthy, but he was able to accomplish a lot. Get his own land, his own property, his own assets, and that was something I admired him for. And being financially, stable. That's where that side of me came from, being ambitious and looking at different risks in different things that you do ahead of time and being proactive. So, yeah, they had a lot of impact, had a positive impact on my life. And because of the way they did things, this is why I am the person I am today, someone who's ambitious and being open minded. At St. Mary's, the focus was business French. That was my two areas of interest. And then at South Louis Community College, I would say the math element. There were different finance and math courses that really piqued my interest. And then at the University of the West Indies, the one that stood out for me or piqued my interest the most were these investments courses, a whole bunch of courses under the finance module. It always intrigued me how $1 today can turn into $10 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So yeah, it may come across like, oh, this guy loves money. Then again, who doesn't love money? But for me, it was just I guess the movement of money and how you make it multiply. My first business idea. Ah, so funny because there's one right like that right now in St. Lucia. It was pretty simple. Just to like package peeled ground provisions. I think I had that idea as a teen because my mom loved ground provisions. I had the idea that, hey, people like provisions in St. Lucia, especially the older folk. So why not have it peeled, probably packaged in a way that can ensure it's preserved over a certain amount of time in smaller pieces, kind of like pre-boiled, so you can like open the packet and just dump everything in a pan of hot water and just boom, just like that. It's prepared in under 5 minutes. Let's just say that's just the first idea. I never did anything about it. It's just, oh, this nice idea. The first project that I created by myself without any involvement of any ministerial education agency or anything like that was at South Louis, where I was able to work with some amazing people. Was something called the Expressions magazine. It wasn't really a money making thing. To me, it was a project. To others, it may have seemed as any normal, teenager trying to do something new. But Expressions magazine was basically a form of an online magazine that gave students the opportunity to express themselves, whether it would be through writing or designing. I do admit, we're all learning and looking back. Quality could have been way better, but it was fun and it was just a whole bunch of students trying something, trying to have an impact in whatever way possible. And I learned a lot because of that, a lot about myself, a lot about networking and working with people. when the team left Suffer Lewis, we wanted the younger members of the South Louis Community College Arts Club to basically make it better. You know what I mean? Because it's a learning curve and you need to make it better. But it just died. I'm not sure if it's a case where they weren't as many members or it's a case where they did not have interest anymore, but it died. Um, yeah, and that's okay because you know everyone has their own journey, and yeah, that was my journey. Expressions magazine. So after Expressions, there's another attempt to create another magazine, but this time still non-profit objectives. Um, but still, we wanted it to be sustainable because the reality is we have to pay certain people to do certain things. And this one was called That's What's Up magazine. That's What's Up evolved over the years. And still had the same objectives, but outside, the team at that time, we were outside of the South Louis Community College. And we still wanted to give students an opportunity to, express themselves through writing, designing, whatever it is, theater arts, whatever. Surprisingly, because I never expected it to last that long. In my mind, it was just like, hey, a year, 2 years. It ended up being about 6 years to the point where I got money to actually go to school because of That's What's Up. Can you believe that? After a while, we stopped the magazine element. We went to events. The thing for That's What's Up that really stood out the most, we did something called, it was a theatrical production called In Half an Hour, So Much Can Change, that really focused on bringing awareness on HIV/AIDS, stigma, discrimination. And it was so successful. It was played on television many times. The content was actually used in workshops by Ministry of Health. So I'm glad it actually had an impact from people, just a whole bunch of kids, not kids, but teens at the time coming together and just putting on a magazine to now collaborating with Ministry of Health, and they actually using content that we produce to have an impact on students. So that's something I'm really proud about. Outside of that, I wanted to do different things that weren't theater related. But unfortunately, COVID came about. So that was 2020 gone, 2021 gone. And in addition to that, I also wanted to focus on gaining new knowledge as it relates to banking because I have another passion, which is banking. So I wanted to also focus on that as well. So unfortunately, from 2018 to present, I haven't done anything in the theater realm
Yeah.
or any other new business ventures or projects. However, I I'm happy to say that I am a part of I've been gaining knowledge rather during that time, and I'm a part of an entrepreneurship program by the government of St. Lucia and the Taiwanese embassy that will really help me get to that next level, and a business coaching program because I believe that there is always more to learn. And because of that, I have this new idea that um, I will roll out that is basically an agro processing and business. So that is something I'm excited about, and so I'm starting again. This is the thing having when you love two things, because I want to be an entrepreneur, and on the flip side, on the other side rather, I love banking. So I want to become a household name in St. Lucia, and in the OECS as it relates to being a risk professional, and as it relates to an entrepreneur. I want to have my own business because at some point I don't want to be working for anyone. I want to be working for myself.
Yeah.
And I want to create a conglomerate where I've always had this idea where my conglomerate will be Hierland group of companies. You know what I mean? The name may not be wow right now, but it's a work in progress. But basically, a whole bunch of companies where we do different things, whether it would be, hey, one in agro processing or manufacturing, another one potentially financial services or investments, consulting, a whole bunch of things. This is my path as it relates to the entrepreneurial side of me and the banking side and being a risk professional.